Welcome to the implementation overview video for the Year 3-4 Times Table Fluency Targeted Intervention. How we help you to set up the evaluation. The first thing we ask you to do is identify a group of target learners. You then complete the pre-assessment test with all the learners. You'll then use the What Worked Teachers platform to randomly allocate these into the intervention and comparison group. The intervention group will receive this for the duration of the trial, and the comparison will continue as normal. Both groups will complete the post-assessment test, which is the same as the pre, and the system will generate an impact report, and if this is positive, then you can open this up to the comparison group. So let's look at this from a step-by-step planning approach. Step 1. Identify a group of target learners to participate in the evaluation from the same year group or class. Step 2. Read the intervention schedule and print off the resource packs for the timed tables that you will be teaching in the next 5 weeks. These are included in the resource folder. Step 3. Complete the pre-assessment maths test with all the learners. Record the marks in the Excel tracker located in the resource folder and input this into the pre-test on the trial wizard. So moving on to implementation. Step 4. Using the trial wizard on the What Worked Teachers platform, this will randomly assign learners to the intervention and comparison group. Just make sure you record this in your Excel tracker. Step 5. For the intervention group of students, follow the delivery schedule for the timetable fluency lessons. The comparison group will continue with business as usual for the duration of the trial. And step 6. Complete the post-assessment maths test, which is the same as the pre, to both the intervention and comparison group. Record the marks in the Excel tracker located in the resource folder and input this into the post-test on the trial wizard. So the intervention, it's a targeted number fluency intervention that focuses on Year 3 and Year 4 pupils. The intervention is delivered by a teaching assistant in small groups, and each session will take approximately 15 minutes. How it works. This systematic approach to teaching times tables aims to develop children's fluency when recalling facts up to 12 times 12. It is designed with the 4 characteristics of effective fluency practice in mind: spacing, interleaving, testing, and overlearning. The timetables are learned in the following order, but you will just fit this into the order you're teaching in your school. When learning the facts in each times table, key facts are broken down into manageable chunks and introduced using a phonics flashcards approach, so children learn the sound pattern of each fact. Rehearsal of the facts happens little and often, and interleaving is used to ensure children consolidate previous learnt facts. The systematic approach also ensures children develop an understanding of the computative law and the relationship between multiplication and division facts. The approach can be used as a whole class teaching method or small group intervention in this case, and requires a low amount of resourcing as these are included. Each session should be no longer than 15 to 20 minutes. So the teaching flashcards is the first 10 minutes. So children need to be able to count through the multiples in that half of the table first before learning the sound pattern to each multiplication fact in order, e.g. 1 5 is 5, 2 5s are 10. Once children are confident, the teacher could challenge children to recall the multiplication facts out of order. This should be repeated with division facts, so children are confident with the inverse of each multiplication fact. The teacher models writing the division calculation alongside the multiplication on a whiteboard. Again, this should be said using a sound pattern sentence. There is 1 5 and 5. There are 2 5s and 10. And the division flashcards could be made if these are required. Depending on the fluency confidence of the group, the teacher may spend 1 or 2 sessions just using the flashcards to introduce the new set of facts before using the booklets for independent practice. And then you'll find rehearsal booklets, which is for 5 minutes of the session. So once children are familiar with the first set of facts, the booklet should be used at the end of each session so children can practice the facts they've learnt. If the teachers feel children need more rehearsal of the new facts, this practice may not start until after the 2nd or 3rd session. Within each booklet there are 22 tests. There are 40 questions in each test, and they're structured as follows. So test 1 to 4, which is the first half of the new times table. Test 5 to 8 is the second half of the new times table. Test 9 to 12 is all of the new times table. And tests 13 to 22, these are the new times table combined with previously learned times tables. The school that has developed this approach has shared how they implement this intervention. So included in the resource folder, you will see a timetable example that they use, which goes through session 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And it also gives additional guidance there for the weeks as you move through the 5 weeks. In the resource folder, you'll see a PDF for the flashcards for each of the times table and a rehearsal booklet. Please print it off the planning sheet so you know which ones are required for each day. You'll also find a track and spreadsheet, which allows you to link an anonymized learner ID to a student. And then finally, moving on to your key considerations, issues need to be considered before using a targeted times table fluency strategy as an intervention, such as is there suitable time in the delay for the delivery? Is there a location where this can be delivered? Schedule, make sure this is printed off in advance, and the same that the resources are printed off as well. And then will you link this to any potential rewards? Logistical barriers are common in any intervention delivered in schools, so it's just important to consider these prior to starting. The assessment guidance. To measure the impact of the intervention, you'll need to create an assessment to use at the start and end of the trial with both groups. This will be 20 times table questions, 6 seconds per question. As schools will be learning different timetables during the school year, you can create an assessment using the times tables that you are teaching in the 5-week block and include a few from the previous learning. So you need 20 questions from the times tables that you'll be teaching over the duration of the 5-week block. And you can select these, but make sure you use the same ones for your pre and your post assessment. The assessment. So the pre-assessment, please use your bespoke assessment that you've created. This is 20 time questions at 6 seconds per question. The resource folder includes a pupil and answer sheet template. So make sure you record the score for each learner in the Excel tracker and then input this into the What Worked Teaches platform. For the post-assessment, at the end of the trial, this is the same assessment that's been used for the pre, and it allows you to measure the progress for the effectiveness of the intervention. Please record the score for each learner in the Excel tracker and input this into the What Worked Teaches platform. So that is the end of your implementation guidance. The next thing to do is to download the research protocol, the resource folder, and then start your trial wizard.